Hi guys, I thought I'd do a quick update on the Warhorse motor. The project is moving along. I got the camshaft in. Remember, this is like a 265 duration at 50. Flat tappet, solid. So it's going to have lash. Now, I had earlier said that it had like 666 lift, but I forgot to take out the actual lash, so we're right at about 650 lift is where we're at. Now, my problem is these are the closed chamber heads, the 76cc early heads. It is a flat top with a valve relief. So I don't have a lot of room. I mean, remember those valves in these heads only sit down about 100 thousandths, and then the relief is giving me about another 100 thousandths. So I had to juggle the cam in order to get it to fit. At the present moment, I have about 80 thousandths, just over 83, 84 thousandths piston to valve clearance. And that's my bare minimum. I mean, I wouldn't go much tighter than that. But that will work. Now, the cam is sitting at 6 degrees advanced in order to put it at that. Now, it is a symmetrical cam, which means the intake lobe and the exhaust lobe are actually the same lobe. But because you have a difference in opening ramp as compared to closing ramp, they don't actually sit exactly the same, which is why I'm sitting at a few degrees advanced. Now, I would have liked to probably put the cam in a little different. I actually wanted to run it more like 10 degrees advanced because I'd like to try and take some of the exhaust duration out of the intake cycle, and by advancing it, I can move the closing event back a little bit. But it is what it is. It's sitting where it's going to have to sit, and I wasn't even sure this cam was going to fit with these heads. So we're just going to have to live with where the cam is sitting, and that's not uncommon when you get into big cams on motors. Is a lot of times what you're fighting is piston to valve clearance, and it's just a hard thing to correct without taking things apart, increasing the depth of the valve relief maybe, or something like that. But I think we're going to be okay. Like I said, I'm at my minimum. But now that I have the cam in and where I want it, I can button up the front. I can put the eccentric on the front just as a thrust, emergency thrust. It is flat tappet, so it will be forced to the back of the block, but not to have it move around too much. I like having the eccentric in there against the cover. Now, we're not going to run, the fuel pump's going to be electric. I've already got a block-off plate for it, but I can button up the front. I can get the front cover on. I can get the harmonic balancer on. I can get all that situated now that the cam's done. Plus, I can now pull the head back off and try and sort out what spring I need to put on the head so it works. And I also want to flow check these heads, because these are the first heads I ever did back in the 90s. Now, I chose them because they were ported already. They're the right CC. A lot of the stuff I did later on was the open chamber heads. And so I'm hoping they flow okay. Now, they are the first ones I ever did. I mean, that was 30 years ago. And so I've learned a lot since then, and we'll have to see. I might be able to touch them up a little bit. I'm trying not to put a whole lot of work into this motor. I'm trying to just get it done because I'm pretty busy with other stuff, and I'd like to get this motor done and running in pretty short order, not make this a long drawn-out project. So we will flow them and see how good I did years ago, and hopefully it's good enough that we can make this work. I dug out a old Pro Billet distributor, which should work just fine because I want to run a MSD box. I am thinking about making the engine black and aluminum accent. And so the block on the heads and the pan, when I get it done, will all be painted black, and everything else will be aluminum color, so, you know, aluminum valve covers, aluminum intake. And I'm thinking on the front of even running a aluminum front cover, which I haven't done before, and I am thinking about running a small block Chevy water pump on it. Belt driven still, but this is a Chevy. This is an Adelbrock, so it has a good impeller on it. I do have an adapter plate that goes on that will allow this to bolt up. Now it does stick out further, you know, so I mean if you were to do it on a regular motor, like to make it run to go into something, you'd wind up having to fuss with pulleys. But on this motor, I'm going to have to fuss with pulleys anyway, because I'm going to run a 8-inch fluid dampener on the front. I did this years ago. I have a special hub I made for it, but this also takes me to the Chevy bolt pattern for pulleys. So once I get this on, I can bolt up a regular Chevy pulley and kind of see where everything's going to fall for pulleys and belts and water pump. But I know a lot of you guys don't think that pump is capable of cooling this motor. I don't see why not. I've never run it before, so I'm kind of thinking let's run it and see. And like I said, it'll stick out a little bit, but that gives us more aluminum. An aluminum water pump, aluminum adapter, aluminum intake. So I think color-wise, coordination-wise on what the motor will look like, it'll be okay. And we can see. Worst case scenario, it's a water pump, it's external. If for some reason it doesn't seem to work, then we'll know, and I can always swap it to a different water pump if I need to. But I'm thinking rather than running a regular steel cover and a painted water pump, that I kind of like this idea. My other choice would be to build a little different water pump. I have done a drawing, but we'll have to see how that goes. So at the moment, I'm ready to go. Like I said, the cam was the first thing I needed to sort out. The next big issue is going to be the oil pan. And I have done a little bit, but that's going to be the real work on getting this motor done, I think. But we'll test the heads real quick, and hopefully I can button the heads up and maybe make this a long block in pretty short order. And then we'll be down to really just the oil pan to get it done. I've dug out a flex plate, a starter. I have all the valve train. I've got most of the parts, the oil pump. I'm also thinking about running that line around the back of the block to feed increase the oil feed to the motor. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I do have a pump I could use for that, and we could kind of see how that does. I have seen a 5-pound difference between the front of the motor and the back of the motor, so there is a bit of a restriction in these motors for oil. I would be curious to see how it did, if that helps the idle oil pressure a little bit and makes it a little better. So I am moving along. I'm trying real hard to keep this as a simple project, as simple as I can, because I don't have a lot of time these days, and so I'm trying to just use what I've got and bolt it together. And like I said, the pan is I have a plan for it, and I'll do a separate video on that. I think I've got a fairly simple way to clear this, because this motor has a halo on it. So that's how it's going. I will also make a playlist that has all of the Warhorse build in it, so that down the road, if somebody runs across this, they can watch the whole thing without having to look through all the videos to find it. So I will work on that after this video, because then we'll have a couple, and hopefully not too far down the road, I'll do one on the oil pan, and we can get that part knocked out, or I'll do one on the head flow and tell you how bad I was in the day. See if they flow any kind of number at all. I don't seem to have paperwork for them. These are literally the oldest heads I have. So I don't know. You know, we'll see how good I was in the day. But that's how it's going, and that's the update. I know this isn't a real long video, but I thought I'd keep you up to date as to what's happening, and we'll keep moving along. and see if we can't get it done and all put together. I am also having to look for push rods. The ones that I had with these rockers are too short for this lifter. And so to use this lifter, I'm going to have to change to a high mount lifter, which I don't see a reason to do that. I need like a 10050, actually a shorter push rod, but I'm not finding one in my set, and I swear I had something right at about 10. I don't know if it's a 10 or a 10050, but some of these parts get a little separated, so I will look a little more, and we'll see how it goes. But worst case scenario, I mean, push rods I'm just buying, so I'll if I can't find them, I'll double check the length and get them on order so that we got them to put this together. So that's how it's going. I'm feeling pretty good about this motor. I think we can knock it out in pretty short order. I could do it really fast if I didn't have all this other work. Busy making you guys parts, trying to keep things going, building motors. But I do want to get this one done. So we'll see how it goes. I wish all your projects are going well, and I will be talking to you later. Bye.